I will call the meeting to order. Before we adopt the agenda, I would like to read a statement. The municipality of Clare expresses its condolences to the family of and friends of Delphis Comeau, a pillar of the community. Mr. Comeau dedicated more than 30 years to public service, notably as clerk treasurer of the municipality of Clare. Like many, we were touched by his life and grief with the community at his loss. There are a lot here who worked with him and who knew him, and certainly it's a big loss for the community. He did a lot of good work when he served the municipality as clerk. And unfortunately, we have a meeting tonight, but the funeral will be tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock. And I plan to go, and if any of you want to go. So by saying this, we need a motion to adopt the agenda. Moved by Councillor Thibault, seconded by Councillor LeBlanc. All those in favor indicate by saying yes. Contrary, no. Motion is carried. 2B, declaration of conflict of interest. Are there any items that could place you in a conflict of interest? If not, we will go on to 3, presentations. The Association of Seniors with Sergeant Daniel Godet and Alphonse Insonier, President. I think I pressed the good button. Thank you. I would like to start by thanking you, Mr. Warden, and the councillors for the invitation to meet tonight. I think it is important on your side to hear from us once in a while. I want to thank you also to give us the funds to the association. You have renewed the 3-year agreement, and I think it is important for us to have that engagement, that commitment, and so that we don't have to come every year to seek funds, and it clarifies a lot of things for us. Presently, with the agreement with you and the province, we have 3-year agreements with the two of you. So it ensures a continuity, and I thank you very much. The presentation will be very short. Hélène, our employee, is with us, and she is here to answer your questions if you have any. I would like to start by saying that the association was formed in partnership with the municipality, as you know already, with the RCMP and the seniors department of the province. Without these 3 partners, we wouldn't exist. So if we remove any one of these, we wouldn't exist. So the partnership is really important. We can ask why. Here, we are looking at the abuse of seniors. Unfortunately, we have the best community in the province, and sometimes there are problems. The seniors abuse exists and will probably continue to exist. Our only goal is to prevent this abuse. There are several factors that makes that the seniors abuse is present in our community. I would like to mention briefly some of them. The senior population is increasing already, as you know. The isolation factor, how many seniors do you know who live alone? And for a lot of reasons, probably because the people around them have passed away, or the other big factor is the economic situation today. Makes that their children have to leave the area to go to work, and they have to go to Halifax and elsewhere, but so they find themselves alone. And the transportation for the seniors have big problems. The accessibility to services, it becomes more complicated to access the services, especially in health. If you look at home care, or even to have a meeting with your doctor if you have one, It can go to 3 months, and in 3 months, a lot of things can happen and complications that make the situation worse. So we also have the electronic mediums, the telephone scams and everything that come into place. So the increase of the average age, firstly, it is a positive factor for me, but we can ask the question, and I could talk a long time on this, but the abuse from the children is also evident. The last that I want to mention is the poor population. There is a poor population in Clare, but it is there are people who live on a small pension, and their parents take care of other persons who are ill in the family. And if you look at all those factors, it is rare that there is only one who is affected. There are always others. So I just wanted to throw this to you to put it in context. So our priority, several years ago when the association was created, we looked at what is the best way to address this problem. And it was decided that it was through visits in the residences. And Ellen can talk to you more about this, but to give you an idea, we were looking in the last year the number of visits to the residences. She has a lot more people to look at, and in one residence there could be more than one senior. So it gives you an idea of the extent of the work that one person does in the community, and also with the collaboration. I would like to mention one point. The association, especially volunteer, we are not involved in other services. There is the element of secrecy to go into the different homes and everything, but if you are asking the question to see how the money is distributed that you have given us, the money that we receive from the municipality goes uniquely to Helen's salary. The money that we receive from the province are mainly for salaries, but a third goes to cover expenses, for the car expenses mostly, to go from one area of Clare to the other and to be able to get there. So Hélène has a car in her for her use, and she is responsible to make the car operate. So the province helps that, but the rest of that, we do some fundraising. The cars are lasting a long time because the distances are short, but it is a big territory. So we are fundraising to replace the vehicle. So that being said, you might be more interested in hearing what Ellen does, and if you have any questions or comments. So I missed his comment. He doesn't have anything to say, I guess. It's the first place where I worked with a service like this in my detachment, and I worked at a lot of places, but ourselves as RCMPs, we are really reactive. We get a call and we react. But the best thing with Ellen in the area is that she will be in the community and she does the prevention work, and we all know about scams and different things, but that affect the seniors. But Ellen knows that some people have internet also, and she talks to the seniors and she goes to see them, And that helps us a lot because we are not reacting to those situations. So it gives us time to work on other things. With Ellen also, what is good is when I am on calls, she takes care, she identifies the problems that could be extreme, and we work together. And she has a very good relation, and it works a lot better. So on my side, it is really good to have her. We work well together, and I just wanted to say that. And we do things also, but so that's on our side. Thank you. I would like to say that in 2018, there is an increase of cases with the negligence of the seniors, either from the people who give care to them or the abuse of the power of attorneys. So we had a lot of cases like that, and it is to find a way to have their protection. It doesn't mean that when you go somewhere and you see someone who doesn't have any food, any medicine, who doesn't have any services, who doesn't have personal care, who doesn't have a way to access their money, these, and that's all because of the person who cares for them. And it is really bad. So I cannot just say, okay, I can leave this go. For example, I can continue and find a way to see that it's that the person gives the help, and we work with the RCMP to work with that. So the RCMP cannot really step in and have the responsibility. Then we look at other members of the family, and maybe I can try to organize home care to come in. I can organize to bring them help to a clinic or whatever. But that was really big. So, and I think it is really sad to see that today a person can be vulnerable to that point. The causes of dementia is really in different ages, and it creates problems. They are not able to make their own decisions. They neglect themselves. So I am there. And in those cases, and if there are no family members, I do more than one visit per week. I go in and I go in to check on them to make sure that they are okay. And if I need to call the pharmacist for them to come to deliver medicine, and I do that. But I do that to help them with that. Of course, I can do that to help until somebody gets caught. And when the calls come in, really, somebody wants the credit cards, for example, we need to make them aware. So I don't know if you have any more questions. If you go in a home and seniors are there who cannot take care of themselves, do you have adult protection and whatever? We do referrals to adult protection, but it is not guaranteed that they will come. So we had a lot of problems with that, and we became frustrated because that's how we started with checks with the members of the RCMP to look at that. So I can only continue to do the referrals. With time, it becomes a crisis situations, or they have to do something. But in other cases, we call the ambulance, and they transfer them to the hospital, and then the hospital, they are given care, and often they are kept there while waiting for an assessment. Any more questions, Councillor DeVoe? Thank you. You mentioned the ambulances. As an ambulance driver, I see the work that you do, and it's unbelievable how it removes. If your work was not done, it would fall on the RCMP or ourselves. And for us, it's not our field of work. That's not what we are trained to do. So your work is really important. We see the difference as ambulance drivers to the work that you do. So it is very good. Continue your work. But a question that I have, you mentioned that there were 500 visits last year. Does it increase? Does it go down, or does it remain the same every year? Every year it changes. It increased lately. And this is for our fiscal year from 1st of April to March 31st, but unfortunately, last summer, as you know, last summer I broke a foot and I was not able to go. But the doctor said to stay at the house, but I said no, I have responsibilities and I needed to go. So I contacted the president, and they decided that it was okay if I could work from home, at least to make the contact with the clients by telephone. And the first call I made is, and if I cannot go, I can call you once a week. So sometimes they said, I don't know how to handle this, but so 5 minutes later, my home phone rings, and they don't know what to do. They really need to see you. They're used to seeing you. You calm them. But I told them to put them in the vehicle and bring them to my house. So there were some that came directly to my house, and there were others, a lot of others that I was making contacts with. So, for example, I have the division of how many people I serve in those cases. But I broke my foot in mid-August, and it started from there. So it goes up and it goes down, but it is mostly increasing because the seniors are getting more numerous, and situations are getting worse.
Are there other questions? Councillor Leblanc? Someone who refuses help, do you keep trying, or is it sent to someone else, or are you the first to intervene in such situations, or usually I'm one of the first persons there? Depending on the case, a person has the right to make their own decisions. So if they're not incompetent, if they're capable of making their decisions, a person can live as he or she wishes. I can continue going. I've never been refused anywhere in the 15 years that I've been doing this. I can continue to go to the houses and try to speak, to try to bring in help or services or whatever. And with time, usually they accept it. But I don't abandon them. I keep trying, I keep going.
Thank you. 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 Thank you.
Are there other questions? Councillor Thibault? And then I just want to congratulate you for the work that you do in Clare. We're very lucky that you're here, you and your group. So I just wanted to congratulate you for the good work. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. If you allow me one comment, I think that we all realize how lucky we are to have Ellen, who knows almost everyone in the community, who speaks like us, who is understood by everyone. She has done marvelous things that no one else would have been able to do, working for the well-being of the seniors. Are there other questions? I mean, I just like to say that it's often if I go to the store or something and I'm talking to residents, the seniors, they mention Ellen. It's a good position, but it's the person who makes the position. And there's no doubt that Ellen, you're a very special person, and what you do for the community is people notice. So on behalf of the municipality, I thank you for that. I just want to say a big thank you to that. It's always a pleasure of me to hear some feedback, especially some positive feedback. That's all I can say to that. Thank you. Thank you. Next, we'll go to 3, adoption of minutes. 4.1, May 15th, regular council meeting. Are there any errors or omissions? All in favor indicate by saying yes. Against? Motion carried. 4.2, June 5th, 2019, council and committee meeting. Are there any errors or omissions? Moved by Councillor DeVoe, seconded by Councillor Hill. All in favor indicate by saying yes. Against? Motion carried. 4.3, June 18th, 2019, special session of council. Any errors or omissions? Moved by Councillor Thibault, seconded by Councillor DeVoe. All in favor indicate by saying yes. Against? Motion carried. 5, business arising from previous council meetings. There's nothing there. 6, ordinance activity report. On June 3rd, I assisted to a meeting here with Stefan, with Emmanuel Nahimana from Immigration, Francophone Immigration, Nova Scotia, to discuss the appointment of a Clare municipality as one of the 14 communities Francophone in Canada. So I think we spoke about that at the last meeting a bit. On June 3rd, I assisted to a meeting, telephone meeting from the audit committee from the ICDNA. June 4th, another meeting, telephone meeting from the administrative council from the ICDNA. June 7th and 8th, the general meeting for Réseau Santé, Nova Scotia. June 10th, I assisted to a meeting of the administration of the ICDNA in Halifax. And the strategic plan of the ICDNA is coming to an end, so right now we're trying to develop a process for the community to engage the community to develop a new plan. So in the next year there will be a public meeting, and I think what they're thinking of doing is hire different organizations, different companies and stuff, but we'll have to develop that process. On June 11th, I went to the annual general meeting of the ICDNA in Halifax. So Alistair remains the president for another year, and I vice president. June 13th, I assisted to a meeting of Develop Nova Scotia to develop the internet project. Stefan and I went. It was a good meeting. On June 15th, I went to the official opening of the fire hall in St. Bernard. Neil was there, and Carl and Hector. There were some speeches, a lot of people. It was a really nice opening. Neil did a magic show. On June 17th, I assisted to a meeting in Shelburne for an update on the Compass Housing Initiative in Nova Scotia. Compass, I think they're going to come in September to do a presentation to council. More or less, they're looking at doing co-op housing, but in Nova Scotia, I'm gonna guess about 53 different co-ops. Co-op housing initiative. So what co-ops tries to do is to slowly amalgamate all these co-op housing units, all the different organizations to have more asset and reduce the risk. They're looking at developing the school, the Barton School as housing. They have a development in Shelburne. So what they do is they sign MOUs with different municipalities for property, different things, just to work together. So I asked them if they would come in September to do a presentation. So June 18th, I went to a meeting with the Atelier de Clare and Compass to discuss potential projects. So I think they're the Atelier, because they're looking at housing for people with special needs, it would be a good fit, because they're a big organization that have access to more resources perhaps. So those are discussions that will continue to go forward. And June 18th, I also assisted at the annual general meeting of the REN in Digby with Stefan. So that's my report. I just went through it very quickly, but if anyone has questions, I'm ready to answer them. Next, we'll go to official statements from members of councils. Are there presentations? Councillor Hill?
I wish a happy birthday to Wallace Mellon of Newtusket. He turns 104 on July the 5th. Just like for the municipality to send him a certificate of acknowledgement.
Vous êtes tous d'accord?
You all agree with that? Councillor Thibault? I'd like to congratulate Isabella Cyr. That will be the only athlete that will represent Clare at the finals of the Jeux de l'Acadie that will be held in Grand Falls in New Brunswick from June 26th to 29th, 2019. She will be part of the Nova Scotia team. She will participate in the jump and the relay race, high jump and relay race. Would you like to send a letter so you guys all agree? Are there other presentations? Councillor DeVoe? Thank you. We had the same idea, Mr. Thibault and I, but that's good. I would also like to take a second to thank the people, and there are a lot of them, that pick up the garbage from the ditches, from the streets. They keep our municipality clean. I know sometimes it's difficult because they pick up and then someone else throws trash after them. But I would just like to take a second to thank those people. It's incredible the work that they do. They pick up a lot of garbage, and without that we would have roads and places in Clare that would not be very clean. So I won't name names because I'll never go through the list, but I just want to thank all those people. Thank you. Thank you, Councillor DeVoe. Other presentations, official presentations, statements? No? If not, we'll go to 8, correspondence. 8.1, update on the Accessibility Act, Nova Scotia Federation of Municipalities. This is a letter that was sent to the mayors, councillors, and of all of Nova Scotia.
To send this update to our members. Following the adoption of Wolfville's accessibility plan in February earlier this month, the Accessibility Advisory Committee hosted a public launch of the document at the Wolfville Farmers Market. Wolfville Access by Design can be found on Wolfville's website. Wolfville Access by Design is the first comprehensive municipal accessibility plan in Atlantic Canada. The plan is the culmination of a community-driven effort that involved spirited discussions amongst members of Wolfville's Accessibility Advisory Committee and a well-attended town meeting. At the NSFM Spring Workshop, the town of Wolfville received a Rick Hansen Difference Maker Award for their outstanding work in preparing this plan. Together with the Accessibility Planning Toolkit for municipalities, Wolfville's Access by Design should be viewed as a resource for municipalities to help develop accessibility plans of your own. The Accessibility Planning Toolkit is nearing completion and will be released publicly once municipalities are prescribed under the Accessibility Act. As a reminder, once prescribed under the Act, municipalities must develop an accessibility plan and establish an Accessibility Advisory Committee within 1 year. While timing is not yet confirmed, municipalities will likely be prescribed in fall 2019, meaning that accessibility plans must be in place by fall 2020, with an announcement to take place over the next couple of months. Municipalities will continue to be informed as this process unfolds. For further information on what the Accessibility Act means to your municipality, please contact Joshua Bates, Senior Policy Analyst with the Accessibility Directorate.
Are there questions, comments? If not, we'll go to 8.2. Municipal Representations, Governing Council, Université Sainte-Anne. Because our internal governance indicates named annually, we ask you to name the representative of the Clare municipality that will sit on the Governing Council at Université Sainte-Anne for 2019-2020. See the reglement. The warden or councillor named annually from the municipality of Clare. The nomination will be from September 2019 to September 2020. Presently, it's Warden Leblanc that is on the governing council as the representative for the municipality. We ask of you to give us the name as soon as possible. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact us. Thanking you for the attention that you will give to this letter. Sophie Tellier, Secretary, Governing Council. I'm presently on council and I'm ready to continue if you guys all agree. Unless someone really wants to, but so we would need a motion. So moved by Councillor Thibault, seconded by Councillor DeVille. Is there discussion on the motion? All in favor indicate by saying yes. Against? Motion carried. 8.3, thank you letter. SEMA 2024 bid committee.
Je tiens à vous exprimer notre profonde reconnaissance pour votre soutien et votre engagement lors de notre campagne de candidature. Grâce à l'appui de la municipalité de Clare, notre comité a pu soumettre un dossier complet visant à accueillir dans notre région cet événement international d'envergure. L'appui fervent de la communauté, surtout des résidents des municipalités de Clare et d'Argyle, a joué un rôle significatif quant à l'obtention du 7e congrès mondial acadien en Acadie du sud-ouest de la Nouvelle-Écosse en 2024. Selon la Société nationale de l'Acadie, la fédération qui assure la pérennité du congrès mondial acadien, les 2 points forts de notre candidature comprennent notre plan vert proposé, ainsi que le soutien enthousiaste de la communauté, notamment de notre jeunesse. Nous visons à offrir un congrès divertissant, éclairant et inclusif à la région et au monde entier dont nous pouvons être fiers. C'est avec un plaisir non dissimulé que nous avons bénéficié de votre dévouement et de votre générosité. Au fur et à mesure qu'approchera ce grand événement, nous espérons pouvoir encore avoir la joie de compter sur votre soutien. Croyez, messieurs, en toute notre sincère gratitude. Alistair Surette, porte-parole.
Conseil de vote.
Merci. So, Astrid, est-ce que le comité va demeurer le même ou c'est qu'il va y avoir différents comités pour organiser le
C'est ce qu'on discute à l'heure actuelle. Il va y avoir un conseil d'administration pour le pour le CMA 2024. À l'heure actuelle, notre comité de mise en candidature existe encore et on est en train d'explorer on est en train de garder au processus pour transitionner à ce nouveau comité-là. On n'est pas certain encore de la manière que ça va se faire et comment les gens seront nommés à ce comité-là. C'est quelque chose qu'on espère pouvoir discuter avec les deux conseils à Clare et à Argyle. On se rencontre cette semaine avec des représentants du Congrès mondial 2019 qui vont descendre nous rencontrer, à vrai dire demain, pour nous expliquer un peu le processus qu'eux autres ont suivi et si c'est quelque chose qu'on veut garder à mettre en place ici dans la région de Clare et Argyle. Le focus sur notre comité Astor, c'est d'assurer une bonne gouvernance. Pour nous, ça, c'est ce qui est le plus important. On est également aussi en train de regarder dans le court terme, c'est quoi les obligations sur notre groupe. Par exemple, les attentes sur avoir une présence au Congrès mondial en 2019 cet été, soit à Moncton ou à l'île du Prince-Édouard. Alors, c'est des discussions qui sont encore en train d'avoir lieu et ça se fait au niveau de notre comité d'évaluation parce qu'on n'a encore pas établi le comité organisationnel encore. Mais les discussions sont en train d'avoir lieu.
So, je pense que est-ce que ça c'est plus avancé, j'ai parlé avec le préfet Argyle, Danny Muse, qui est nouveau préfet. Peut-être que devrait envoyer une lettre de félicitations à ce qu'il pense. Mais je crois que ça fera bon d'avoir une autre session des deux conseils ensemble, une joint session of council, comme avions fait l'autre fois, rien que pour tout entendre la même chose et avoir une bonne discussion. Et lui est certainement ouvert à ça. As-tu d'autres questions? Conseiller Hill? No, no.
Test, test.
Testing, 1, 2.
OK. C'est assez.
Any questions? If not, we will go on to the general manager director report. My report is short on a few projects. The grand fondo as of today, we have 391 participants for the event. We are proud to announce that Riverside Lobster is again our super sponsor, hospitality sponsor for the event this year, and we thank Riverside Lobster. For the housing committee, we are still looking for houses or camps to open the doors to accommodate the participants in September. For the Veterans Center, we are waiting for the program to open. We think it will take place in the fall, but we hope as soon as possible because it is a project we would like to go ahead with. For the Metegan Sewer Extension, that the date for the works will be in 2 weeks with the tides at early July. And for the permits, we are working on those presently. There are complications, but all the permits have not been received yet. We am told that it is on the minister's desk, but we hope to find a solution shortly and go forward. For the CMA 2024, as mentioned, the work is continuing. We are looking at transitioning to the new committee who will organize the Congress between now and 2024 and the participants in all that process. For the Echo Park, the demolition and the cleanup of the site is complete. And from what I understand, the comments I received is that it went well. The discussions regarding the potential sale of the sites is continuing. We hope to have a draft of a purchase sale draft shortly. The internet dossier and the sale of the school in St. Albert, Salmon River, is ongoing, and there are There are confident discussions going on, so we will discuss those in camera this evening. But for the municipality, as of May 31st, we had $7,839,000 in revenue versus expenses of $2,244,718 for a net revenue of $5,787. Again, on May 31st, 2019, the balance in the operation account is 20,323,000. In the capital account, 268,000, and a total balance of 4,720,000. So the 4.7 million will be is included as follows: 448,000 in operations, reserves for capital projects, $2,912. The landfill closure reserve, 324,649, and the gas tax reserves, 112. For the meetings that I attended, since May 15th, I met with the representatives of the Church Point. I met with people from CERMAC, and we met with different partners with the University St. Anne, and we had very good discussions. They were impressed with the part from the municipality and the community because with what we had to offer. So there will be a second visit in July, and it is a dialogue that we hope to continue. At the Yarmouth Hospital Foundation, we participated at the gala on May 25th, a very good event for a good cause. We had met with the warden with the French immigration. On June the 4th, we met with the representative of ACOA to look at our projects and priorities, but also the projects that we have, and the evaluation committee for the candidacy of the CMA who met on June the 5th. The directors of the municipalities from Digby to Barrington, we met on June the 6th to look at the processes for regional planning, and especially in the context of the new requirements and obligations by the province and how we can position ourselves. There was a meeting with Waste Check on June 6th and with the CDNA on June 11th. The opening of the fire hall on the 15th, and a meeting with Telecom on the 17th to look at the internet potential project, and also a meeting today with the municipality of Digby to look at the possibility of a regional EMO to see if it is something that is doable. It is very preliminary, and it's just to start the discussion. That is my report if you have any questions. No questions. We will go on to 10 committee reports. The Construction Report Committee, Councillor Hill.
May of 2018, there were 70 permits issued for a value of construction of $3.5 million. And as of May of this year, there were 59 permits for a value of construction of $3.1 million. So it looks like we have another good year coming.
C'est bien. N'as-tu des questions?
That's good. Any questions? If not, we will go on to 11 under new business. 11.1, motion to enact bylaw 37, a bylaw respecting subdivisions. First reading. Councillor Comeau. Thank you. To start, I would like to say that today, if an individual from Clare has a request to divide some lands or either to sell or to develop, their request could be refused by the province if they don't have access to public road. A public road is a road that belongs to the province and maintained by the province. So another type of public road is a road that is not maintained by the province, but which is there. So the provincial rules are that the private roads must have a right-of-way to cross lands that do not belong to them, and all private roads must meet a public road, which is maintained by the province. So the problem exists when a person lives on a private road and has only access to another area, but the province will not give right-of-way to a public road not going to a public. But I would like to say that this is a bylaw with the province.
Land that is not owned by the subdivider. In addition, all private roads must connect to a public road owned and maintained by the province. Puis là, ça dit the province.
So that is,
Because a K road is owned by the province, a private road must have a deeded right-of-way. The province will not give a private right-of-way across any of its public K roads. Fait que c'est un problème si tu veux diviser.
so it is a problem if you want to divide your land on a not public road. So we discussed this at the 6th of February meeting, and today there are no bylaws concerning the subdivisions in the municipality of Clare. The people who want to subdivide their lands must follow the provincial rules, and the absence of a municipal bylaw and the dependence on the provincial rules are worrisome. So especially in the case where the land is not on a public road maintained by the province. So in order to solve the problem and to facilitate the subdivisions, the member of the bylaw committee, in consultation with the general director, the lawyer for the municipality, and the property developers and the surveyors, we are presenting a draft of a bylaw regarding the subdivisions for the council. I want to mention that Barrington had a lot of success with their bylaw, and we looked at their bylaw and compared. So the bylaw that we are proposing are considering the best practices of the municipalities in southwestern Nova Scotia, and are considered step for the municipality. So if the other committee members want to make a comment.
With the Director General, but we propose that the first reading of the bylaw concerning the subdivisions. Are there other comments? Councillor Hill?
Law to enact, and it's going to create a lot of development in the area because there's a lot of people that have areas that they want to subdivide. So I would like to second the motion.
Are you going to read the motion first, or? Did you want? I'll read the motion. I move that the council for the municipality of the District of Clare read bylaw number 37, a bylaw respecting subdivisions, and that the bylaw be read for the first time by title only. Seconded by. Is there discussion on the motion? The only thing I'd like to say is I know the bylaw committee worked very hard on this bylaw. They met several times. They consulted different people, so I just want to thank them and congratulate them for the nice work. So with that being said, Councillor Camus? I have to say bylaw number 37, a bylaw respecting subdivisions. After the vote, okay? Are you ready for the vote? All in favor indicate by saying yes. Against? Motion carried. Councillor Camus? Bylaw number 37, a bylaw respecting subdivisions. Thank you. And as all other bylaws, it's the first reading. The public has a chance to read it and make their comments. They can come before the council if they have concerns before it's adopted at the public hearing. In our case, I think it'll be the council meeting. Next, we'll go to 11.2, motion to adopt 2019-2020 capital budget. I'll just go through the budget. Capital budget for 2019-2020. It's a project that was discussed at a few meetings already with council. Based on the feedbacks and comments that we have received, we did some changes to arrive with the document that we have right now. So as with other budgets, once this is approved by the budget, it will become a public document and will be on our website if the public wants to consult it. So just to go through it, through the different projects that we propose. We want to finalize the work at the Metegan River Sewer Extension, the outfall pipe. We're looking at about 50,938, an amount that will be available this fiscal year to complete the work. The Church Point wastewater infrastructure, $70,744. Wentworth Park, $2,500. That's a small amount since we invested in the park last year for repair work that was necessary. Cape St. Mary Lighthouse, we continue our investments in the park to finish some work that we were not able to complete before winter, and other work that will be completed this summer. There will also be investments in the Clare Health Center, some work for $11,750. The small building next to it, $4,500, just to preserve the building. The Metegan Library, we will invest $20,000 to do some required work at the building. We also invested some money last year to renovate the community room in the library. We did put $25,000 for the road sewer system laterals for those who would want to. There's a new major investment in the IT. $105,000 up to that amount for this year, and that includes training for a person also. The municipal building here in Little Brook, we're looking at an amount of $20,000. Some money to put in for different purchases. The Clare Veteran Center, we're also looking at a major investment that I spoke about earlier tonight. So if it is approved by the federal and the provincial levels, it will come up to $800,000 for major renovations at the building. We're looking at the possibility of buying a municipal vehicle for our rec department and our building services department. before going forward with the purchase, however, we will look at renting and leasing. The Havelock Community Center, we are looking at repairs for $50,000. Land purchases in the municipality, we like to always put money aside if there's an opportunity that comes up that we feel is strategic for the municipality, then we can. The Eco Park, we have set aside 26,000 for the Eco Park. That's especially for repairing the roof. The Metegan Sewer Building, one of our infrastructures, a new roof, $8,000. Clare Search and Rescue, the building belongs to the municipality and it needs some work, so we put a modest amount of 4,000. For the transfer station, landfill, we need to cut roads in the roads to get to our wells to do some testing. So we are looking at an amount of $50,000 to allow us to do that. Hilltown Ball Field, we're looking at $3,000. Internet, we put aside, we set aside $100,000. We would like to get that moving. That's a priority for the council. And finally, $42,250 for preliminary work on the Metegan sidewalks, especially for the engineers, for the repairs and expansion of the sidewalks in Metegan. So in total, for the total value of the projects, we're looking at 1 million, 4 million, a little over. Of that, we're looking at investing 823,927 for the municipality. So that's almost 50%. So that being said, it's my intention and the intention of everyone here, the municipality, to reduce the obligations from the municipality and looking at other funding, federal, provincial, to get some money to go towards these projects. So that's the budget that we're presenting tonight, the outline of the project. So I ask for your approval. So this is really the fourth meeting that we go through the budget, which is a good thing. The council has had a lot of opportunity to contribute and to express themselves. That being said, does someone want to make the motion, and then we could go to a discussion? Councilor Potier? I move that the council for the municipality of the district of Clare approve the 2019-2020 capital budget as presented. Seconded by Councilor DeVille. Is there discussion on the motion? Councilor Comeau? Would it be reasonable to say that there's a good chance that we won't spend all this money in 2019-2020? It's possible. I mean, it's a budget that we did do in a conservative way, just to make sure that we didn't go over what we had considered spending for the budget. There are some items that will depend on the federal and provincial governments, such as the Clare Veteran Center project. So really that depends on when they open the program. And it is very likely that before they open, they start the program, they accept the funding demands, it'll be winter time. So it is possible that in this case and in other projects, the construction will start this year but finish next year, so it'll carry over to the following year. The smaller projects are things that we should all be able to do this year. It's the bigger ones that are a little bit more difficult, especially if we wait for confirmation from for funding. Are there other questions? Are you ready for the question? All in favor indicate by saying yes. Against? Motion carried. Thank you for the good budget. 11.3, motion to appoint representative, Yarmouth Hospital Foundation. Because of obligations from Councillor Hill and the distance to get to Yarmouth, it was difficult for him, so the council made a recommendation that I be appointed. Does someone want to make the motion? Move the motion? I move that the council for the municipality of the district of Clare appoint Warden Ronnie Leblanc to the Yarmouth Hospital Foundation Board of Directors. Seconded by Councillor Hill. Is there discussion? All in favor indicate by saying yes. Contrary? Motion carried. 11.4, motion to increase municipal credit card limit. Did you want to talk a little bit about it? Simply, this is a request that was made by especially the finance department. The municipality currently has a credit card with a limit. There are 4 credit cards currently, so that means that 4 employees have access to the card, but the cumulative amount limit is $25,000. That being said, that card allows us to pay all kinds of course for public works, the medical center, daily operations here at the municipality. So 20,000 is not a lot. It doesn't take long for it to go high, to be reached, and it creates problems for the finance department so instead of doing one monthly payment, they often have to do a few in the month to make sure that there's enough room on the credit card to continue to use it. The 2 employees that have a card, I'll go back. 2 employees have a card here at the municipal office, but they don't have access to the full amount. They each have a limit of $2,000. I also have a card, and I have access to the full limit if needed, and the finance department also. So for the reasons that I just mentioned, it is the recommendation of the director of the finance department and myself that we look at increasing the limit from $10,000 to $25,000 to allow for a better administration of the card. So for the 2 employees that have a card with a limit of $2,000, that will not change. It doesn't, regardless of if the total limit is 2025, they will keep the same limit. So it's just to add a better functioning of the finance department. Someone ready to do the motion? Councillor Hill?
That the council for the municipality of the district of Clare increase the municipal credit card to $25,000.
Quelqu'un qui va...
Anybody wish to second the motion? Councillor Doucette, any discussion on the motion? All those in favor indicate by saying yes. Contrary, no. 11.5, motion to make a presentation to the Board of Directors of the CSAP. We discussed it at the Committee of Council meeting. More and more, the municipality of Clare sees a lot more immigrants, new arrivals who come to the area. Our population is getting older more and more, and there are a lot less births. So it came to our attention recently that the new immigrants wanted to place their students to the CSAP, but were refused because of the policies in place. So if you look at the situation when the policy was created, which was in 2008, the immigration idea was not something we were expecting. But this is a provincial and federal priority, and now municipal priority to have migrants. But these CSAP is in crisis to find some employees. So the Atlantic Immigration Pilot, where companies like Riverside, and I think there are 6 companies in Clare who are part of the Immigration Pilot, They want to be certified and be able to bring in some people to work for their workforce who are not French nor English, but I think that the municipality, looking at the big picture, we would like to have the CSAP to have them look in a respective way to look at their criteria and respecting the situations of today. We have a new school that will be built in the next years, and we have students who are entitled, and there are not very many. So if all the families who come from outside are asked to place their students or children in the English school boards, it will affect the municipality. And another part of our role as a bilingual municipality is to work with the Acadian Federation and Acadian Affairs to be recognized as an area where you can live and settle in the Acadian culture. So if we don't have the births and the children are asked to go to the schools, more or less, there is a case where the language and the culture is in jeopardy. And we want to ask the CSAP to take that into consideration, to revise their policy, and to recognize this reality because it has a big impact on us. If you look at Argyll, they have the same problems. The city of Halifax is in a different situation. The schools there understand that the policy is in place, but for us, it could have a big impact. So that's what more or less we would like to present to the CSAP, to realize that they are elected and they are elected by the public to represent the public, but we can certainly put our concerns in place and to put our request in consideration and their policy. So having said that, if you look at a family, I agree, a family that wants to establish in Metighan and they want to work in Riverside or Efterio como Seafoods, but their children can register to a school in Weymouth or Port Maitland, it could make a difference between with having them in the municipality of Clare or not. So it is a big distance to register their children there. It would not work. There are certain families not establish themselves in our municipality in that situation, so I totally agree. I am ready to make the motion. I move that the Council of the Municipality of the District of Clare allow the Warden and CAO to make a presentation to the directors of the Conseil scolaire acadien provincial during their meeting of June 22nd, 2019 regarding Policy 501, which governs admission criteria. Seconded by Councillor Thibault. Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying yes. Contrary, no. Motion is carried. 1.6, motion to write a letter to the Nova Scotia Department of Transportation and Infrastructure renewal regarding needed repair with 340. I don't know, Councillor Hill, if you want to say anything on this?
I have a lot to say, but like I said 2 weeks ago, if it's a motion to get some repairs on the 340, I'm in favor of it because a lot of the 340 is in hard shape. This came because of the Grand Fund, all right, and I fully agree with it. Some of them are quite dangerous.
Voulais-tu faire la motion, si tu veux?
Do you want to make the motion?
For the municipality of the District of Clare, write a letter to the Nova Scotia Department of Transportation asking them to prior repair work needed for a 7-kilometer stretch of road on the intersection of Patrice Road on Highway 340 heading west on Highway 340.
As-tu quelqu'un qui va appuyer ça?
Anybody wish to second the motion? Councillor DeVoe. I don't know, talk about the position of the Grand Fondo before we take the vote? As Danny Hill mentioned, the request was brought forward by the Grand Fondo Committee. The committee evidently, or the Grand Fondo is an important, the municipality of Clare, and one of the routes is going, the super grant is going on the 340. So for a few years, they noticed that the road condition is deteriorating, and they estimate that it could be dangerous for the cyclists to go. They would like that the department make it a priority because there is not much time before the next Fondo in September. But that being said, they want to continue the discussion with the department in the hopes that it be repaired as soon as possible. And with the municipality and the support of the council, they hope that it will help their case. Any more questions or comments? We mentioned it already. Often we send letters for different works through this group, and we don't know if they went to see. So I would like to see a follow-up with the others, to have a follow-up to see if the changes can be done or not. More or less, if we send a letter, it comes correspondence and they normally have to answer. So sometimes we get an official response, or sometimes we get a response by telephone. Are you ready for the vote? All those in favor indicate by saying yes. Contrary, no. Motion is carried. 11.7, to write a letter to the Nova Scotia Department of Transportation and Infrastructure regarding needed repairs and the signage for the private Cedar Lake Road and Green Road. Danny, is that something?
The concern of safety were not properly marked. I think the letter was written the way I explained it, that it's like one road comes off 340 here and one here, and it's a branch road, and it's the branch road that they're concerned about. It's not properly marked on the 340 or when you get in there to it. It doesn't tell you when to turn to get to it, so, and they've had an issue, so I'd make the motion that we, I move that the council for the municipality of the District of Clare send a letter to the Nova Scotia Department of Transportation asking them to complete needed repairs and install proper road signage for Cedarwood Lake Road and Green Road in Tuscott.
Anybody wish to second that? Seconded by Councillor DeVoe. Any discussion on the motion? Councillor Comeau? Before we go to vote, I want to make a comment that I would like to add to the next meeting caution on the possibility of inviting the Department of Transportation and Restructuring, because we often have questions like these. And before we go to the vote, I would like to add that we bring it to the next meeting. Yes, certainly. I think it's a good idea. Are you ready for the question? All those in favor indicate by saying yes. Contrary, no. Motion is carried. 11.8, motion approve the flag flying policy. At the last meeting, we presented a draft of a protocol to follow. A few weeks ago, we had a major event here in Clare. Good comments, but it raised a lot of questions about the raising of the flag here at the municipal office. What is our policy? Which organization can request the flying flag and everything? And it's not easy to answer. Communications officer has put in place a policy based on policies already existing in other municipalities and also at the government level that we presented at the last meeting, and it goes with the protocols that are in place agreements with Heritage Canada. When we look at the policy, it explains the criteria of the municipality, how people can make a request, what kind of activity and ceremony that we can have to raise a flag. So it's a policy that is in place now. The budget for the capital project next year, we included a flagpole here at the municipality. So since the committee is based on best practices elsewhere, we did not invent the rule. It is a provincial policy or a local policy, and it's something we want to discuss this evening. I move that the Council for the Municipality of the District of Clare approve the flag flying policy as presented. Anybody second? Councillor Poitier, motion? I think it's a good policy, very well written. And since that ceremony, the other municipalities have reflected on it. A lot of municipalities did not have the policy, and now they're looking at it. They find it important. So, for the vote. All those in favor indicate by saying yes. Contrary, no. Motion is carried. 11.9, Chinese student delegation. As you know, the municipality of Clare has an agreement, a friendship agreement with Taichung. Students from last year came at the ABCC in Cornwallis, and they spent a weekend here in Clare and some time at the university. And this year, there are a lot less students. There are 8 with a chaperone, but in Truro under a different organization. But because of our agreement, they would like to come to Clare for a weekend. But since last year, the same municipality, Taichung in China, the school has signed agreement with the Weymouth School, with the principal there to have an agreement, collaboration agreement between here and China. So he sent me an email to see if the municipality would consider to give a bit of money to send the transfer to Truro to bring some students from here, and they will be billeted and living with other families. And then on the Monday, we could give a bit of money to from the municipality to go to the airport. I think we did a lot of work on those agreements, and it was September or October last, Alistair Surette went to China and with other university presidents to make to having, it's not a big amount, especially with everything that is going on in the world today. If we can help the municipality, and Nova Scotia does a lot of work with the Chinese, so I don't know what your feelings are, if you want to grant this or not.
I'd like to make the motion. I move that the Council for the Municipality of the District of Clare approve the cost of transportation from Truro, Nova Scotia to Clare, as provided by the Transport de Clare for a delegation of Chinese students visiting. Someone who wants to second the motion? Seconded by Councillor Leblanc. And that will be from July 15 to 17. So when they get here on the 15th, I'll have more details, but it'll be similar to last time. We'll meet and exchange, probably here at the municipal office, I think. So is there other discussion on the motion? All in favor indicate by saying yes. Contrary? Motion carried. 11.10, motion to write a letter of St. Bernard Church. I see it says St. Bernard Church, and I forgot to ask for the correction when we received it. We hadn't met the group yet, but it's actually Société Héritage. So, Marla, make a request to New Horizons to hire a senior to help them develop the museum a bit, go into the municipality, find artifacts that are there and decide what would be appropriate and all that. All they ask for us is a letter of support for their request. They're not asking for money. Deputy Warden Dusa, I'll do the motion. I move that the council for the municipality of the district of Clare write a letter to the Société Héritage Saint-Bernard in support of their application to the New Horizons. Councillor Hill seconds it. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor indicate by saying yes. Against? Motion carried. 12, closed session. For those that are listening, there are 4 items in the closed session. 12.1 St. Albert Elementary School. 12.2 dangerous and unsightly. 12.3 rural internet. And 12.4 contract negotiations. That being said, we need a motion to go to closed session. Moved by Deputy Warden Dusa, seconded by Councillor LeBlanc. All in favor, indicate by saying yes. Against? Motion carried. Good night.